Welcome to Tami's Soul Speak, featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks, offering insight, spirituality, transformation, and clarity to every soul. Now, here's Tami.
Hello, happy Wednesday, wherever you are. It's a bit rainy here where I am. We've got rain all week, a little bit different weather, but still beautiful. And I'm glad to see that you're starting to come in and excited about the show where we're talking about frequency. I'm already feeling the frequency before you get in the door, which I absolutely love. The animals have been coming forward, bringing you here. The animals actually guide you here. Your animals currently, your past animals, even maybe a hawk you may have met on a ride, or on a walk, has led you here to our space, which the frequency, as you'll be able to feel as we go through, and some of you who have been here before know, we create a very powerful frequency that with the animals that then we take out in the world, which is absolutely wonderful. So Diane, it's good to see you in Brown Summit. I don't know if it's raining your way. It's really sloshy here. And hey, Barbara from Vegas, good to see you. And Cindy, yes. Oh, Jennifer, it's good to see you. And I'm hoping to read what you sent and share with the group. Jennifer sent something quite lovely this morning. And hi, Molly, or Molly's mom. Okay. From Canada. Yes. Marge, always good to see you. Jessica, hello. Happy Wednesday to you. I was literally just thinking of you yesterday, and Pumi, glad you're here. And Michelle, always good to see you. And never forget when Pretzel came forward to share himself with all of us. And Claire, happy Wednesday to you. So happy to be here, and glad you're all here because you all help us create this beautiful space. I always leave, our time together like, wow, that was really amazing. And you can feel the frequency rising, and it's getting better and better each show. Donna says hello from Maryland. And Constance, hello. So I love that you're coming into this space ready to roll, ready to join the animals in whatever gets created today. So I have a question right off the bat for you. What frequency did you bring into the room? Check. Close your eyes if you have to and just scan your body. What's your frequency? Is it a really high positive one? Is it a kind of like slow one today? What are you bringing to this moment as a frequency? I'm curious. I genuinely am curious. Constance says she's got a high frequency, a high vibe. And Claire says, oh, I love that. It feels like a beacon of light from everyone lighting up around the world. We light the world up through this group. You know that. I hope you realize your animals' participation, your participation, and how much that matters in any moment of our lives. Michelle says love as a frequency. Diane, positive feeling. I'm wondering, is it starting to build for you? Marge says anticipation. Isn't it like a little excitement, anticipation? I always feel that when before a show, especially, and they're always like waking me up at like 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. and help, you got to add this and you got to add that. I'm like, but it's so wonderful to have that kind of connection, right? That we stay in the frequency of a more expanded state. Claire says gratitude, and Deanna says loving hope. I love that. And Deanna once said from Dewey, loving thanks. Oh, what a great phrase. Janet, you say enthusiasm. I love that. And I swear when I first saw it, I thought it was like exhaustion. I was like, no, Janet, we got to like raise that vibe up. So I hope you're ready to roll with me because I'm definitely here and the animals are here. So let's do it. So as you know, because you're animal lovers, they transmit some of the highest healing frequencies on earth, and they're so generous to share it with us on our healing journeys, physical, emotional. Later I'll read something hopefully from Jennifer that talks about a physical healing as a result of something Gladys, her animal, did. They show us literally what healing looks like, and they show us where we're blocked, how we can access that ourselves. So it's huge. They come in with such a pure frequency, very much like children that are closer to the other side, closer to pure positive energy than we are at certain points in our lives where we're weighed down by our experiences or our situations, and those take our focus, let's say. They come in as these little beams of light to wake us up, shake us up, open our hearts. It's huge. It's huge. You'd be really surprised at the different frequencies they transmit just within the daily fabric of your life, because we get to living with our animals and we're enjoying who they are. But if you really stop, like one time, I call them the little gang in the house, they started running around when there was, I had some visitors, and it was kind of what they were talking about was tense. And all of a sudden the littles started like playing this game of chase, going under things and around, and they were actually clearing the energy. They were actually raising the vibration. So animals immediately can read the emotion of any situation in person. And before, I've got all these little things I want to share with you. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with David Hawkins. He wrote a book called Letting Go, and very, very powerful writing. And he says, because all living things are connected on vibrational energy levels, our basic emotional state is picked up and reacted to by all life forms around us. All. It is well known that animals can instantly read a person's basic emotional state. Have you found that with your animal? Do you feel like your animal can read you? How is that? Can you read your animal? If you've been here very many times, you're probably starting to get very good at it if you already had the skills to begin with. So, for the sake of going forward with frequency talk, and before I go, Diane asked, can you give the name of the book again? I would hold it up, but it's called Letting Go, and it's called The Pathway of Surrender. It's by David R. Hawkins. Powerful, powerful spiritual teacher. Powerful messages in his book. So I would highly recommend. He also wrote Power versus Force. He became well known when Wayne Dyer and Wayne actually read something, got quite interested in it, and then sought him out. And then he became more known to all of us. So frequencies, right? Vibrations, or the rate at which a vibration occurs. You literally step into an energetic space that may come in the form of an ordinary moment. I have had so many times where I'm driving along and felt this energetic frequency for could be just a block where I'm going through. And then the minute I enter the block, I feel it. The minute I leave that block, street block, it drops. So there's a frequency. And the more you train yourself to notice your own frequencies, the more you become aware of all the different frequencies we're swimming in, and all the different frequencies that the animals help us with. So this is going to be a show and helping the animals, helping us see all these different frequencies that we actually swim in all the time, and how we can tap into that and live from that space. So, just for the sake of this discussion, frequencies are transmitted, right? And they're received. So transmitting, sending out, receiving, accepting, or taking in. That's why I started, and I was like, what is your frequency? What are you sending out? What are you transmitting at this moment? And so many of you said, positiveness, love. I want, when you say that and you go back to it for a minute, like feel what that feels like in your body and anchor it in so that you can retrieve that at any time. And the animals are always helping us with that. And so an easy practice in a day when you're really busy, you just are going from one thing to another, you feel disconnected, is to see if you can't call in the vibration of your animal, like for anything. Like, for instance, when I say the animal started running around, that immediately raises my vibration thinking of that. That memory is embedded in my field so that I can easily retrieve it at any time. And so as we go through the show, you can start collecting your own frequencies that you want to keep, that you want to share. It's really, really cool when you start realizing this. So a healing frequency would be what? A high vibration, right? A really high vibration. And, just an aside, when we say we want healing, oftentimes that word has quite, I don't know, it's sort of an innocuous kind of like feel. And we're like, oh, yeah, I'd love some healing. Please bring me healing. And what we don't realize when we're saying that, and be careful what you ask for, healing hurts. The physical healing, as you know, if any of you have gone through that, it hurts as we heal because things are releasing, things are stretching, things are expanding. And emotional healing can be quite the pathway to go on. At the same time, it's so important for us to realize when we're in any of that, oh, I must be in this healing phase, and start to look at it a little bit differently. Paulette says, I'm new here. Well, welcome, Paulette. I'm glad you came. You are in the right space. I lost my 16-year-old Westie 1 month ago. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Westies are precious. I'm having difficulty letting go and keeping my vibrations high. I'm sure my 6-year-old Westie feels my sorrow. Well, Paulette, I love that you are honoring where you are. That's part of what we'll talk about today in this frequency talk is, it always looks better on the other side. Oh, when I get on the other side of this, I'll feel so much better. We don't have access to it at the time. I always say it's important to honor where you are, and own it. Like, this is where I am. I'm having difficulty letting go. And maybe it's not the space for which, or the time that you can let go, because you're experiencing the loss, you're experiencing the grief, you're experiencing all the memories. And our energetic focus goes to that. And so I don't think that's an important piece of traveling this journey. And maybe as we go through the show, I can give you some tools, Paulette, to help you with navigating this journey you're on, this grief journey. So stay tuned and feel free to comment and let us know what you're thinking as you're responding to things. And Jennifer says, yesterday, this bee was in my house and frantically trying to get out of my bay window. Well, of course, they're all going to come in like the little hummingbird. I used my tuning fork to try to calm it down, and it did. Wow. I caught it in a cup and let it outside, and it flew away. Jennifer, I love that because you are getting so much more in tune, like that frequency. It's so fascinating where you get an intuitive hit, and it's just like it immediately is a download, is what that is. I'm so glad you acted on that. And Deanna says tuning forks are good for animals. Oh, absolutely. So this is going to be state the obvious, Tami, but what is the highest frequency you can think of? Put it in the comments. I've got a graphic for you, but I don't want to have spoiler alert, although I'm pretty sure you know what it is. What is the highest frequency you can think of? And tell me what it is. Claire says love. Why is that? How do we all know that? Think about that a minute. How do we all know? And Renee, if you would put up the graphic. Pure unconditional love, Barbara says, right? Isn't that what the animals share with us? That precious energy that we often don't feel anywhere else. The sun, I like it. And laughter, I like it. All of those, I want to say love is a cluster energy where it contains all these amazing pieces to it. If we pull it out, laughter is a part of love. Marge said, I'm seeing the sun come from behind the clouds. Beautiful. I love that. See, you invoked the sun energy. I love you doing this because you're creating it right now in your own experience with wherever you are listening and watching. Marianne says, love without judgment or expectation. Isn't that the highest form that we can give anyone, really? Humans or animals, is that piece of no heaviness from us, no attachment. We love you unconditionally. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And we feel good basking in that. We're like, yes, I want more of that, right? And so we easily get it to a space where we can access this at any time. So what are some of the common healing frequencies that you encounter in daily life? And Renee, if you put up the graphic, I'm sure there's more than what this graphic says, but I'm curious, what are some of the common healing frequencies you encounter in daily life? You're seeing where I put like just off the cuff birds chirping, people watching wildlife, a dog tail wag, wouldn't you say? Playing fetch with a dog, a cat's purr. What about caring for animals? What are some of the frequencies you encounter in daily life beyond this list? And David Hawkins did a scale of consciousness, testing everything, and a cat's purr and a dog's tail wag come in at over 500 on the consciousness scale. Very, very high, very healing. Barb says flowing water. I love that. I totally love it. I would agree with that. That's a big one for a lot of people, wouldn't you say? And then Deanna says puppies. Yes, puppies and babies and children, right? And Claire says sitting in nature. We're going to look at that piece in a little bit, Claire. I agree with you on that one. Yes, definitely. I love that, Marianne. She says rain. So why do you know that? How do you know that they're healing frequencies? I mean, I agree with you all, but how do you know that? What tells you that? What do you feel in your body? When you experience rain, what do you feel when you see flowing water or experience flowing water? What do you feel in your body? What's your vibration like when you're around a puppy or kittens? And Claire, what about the sitting in nature? What is about that is the piece that would help us understand what you mean by that? Jennifer says, because you get a calm all over. Calm, Marianne says. Claire says, peace, calmness. Fascinating, you're all saying the same thing. Donna says, peacefulness and calm. And Shelley, calm. Wow. A sense of calm and peace. So what you're saying then is it registers in your body, right? Because that's how you're telling me. It's an inner and outer kind of feel. Would you agree? Barbara says, I feel filled up, almost overflowing or bursting with laughter, joy, peace. Yes, I will take more of that, please. I love that. That is the healing frequency we need to channel every day. And don't the animals do that for us? They're like an easy in. They're always like that. Marge says, fresh smells in the evening when the sun goes down. Peace. I love that imagery. I can almost see that as a visual and what we would feel. It's funny how, you can say the word peace and get a visual of it. So Renee, if you'd put up the little graphic, I thought this would just be cute to share with you of, if you look at all of those images, What things are you seeing in them? Like, just throw some words out. I mean, because they're all a little different. What's the guy who's laying down feeling, you think? And what's the little girl with the umbrella feeling? And the dog? And the horse and the person with the horse? What's the cat feeling? I got a little Zen cat going on. Warmth and love, Marge says. Love, Mary says. Jennifer says love. Contentment, Donna says. And Barb, contentment. Claire, joy and love. And Marianne, comforting and content and happy. Comfort and happiness. Pure love. You all are channeling this in, you know that, don't you? Because you couldn't access the words if you didn't have that in yourselves. Just saying. Michelle says happiness and joy. You know, we honestly don't go through our days with all of what you're listing, right? Security, Mary says. And Paulette, joy, comfort, and happiness. So for us to recognize it in another, we have it in ourselves. That's what the focus for a frequency, that's where it gets really interesting, because you can call that up. So Renee, if you would put the next, well, no, I've got it. I thought it was a slide. Never mind. Hold on a minute. I'm getting myself confused. So examples of different frequencies. We already mentioned, like a dog or cat lying down, sleeping. Think about this when you're thinking about frequencies and your animals. What are some special things that your pet does? Any signature moves that your pet has? For example, I've got a client whose little dog is named Johnny Appleseed. He is so cute. But he dances. He put music on and he dances to the music and he slides down the floor. It is so funny to watch, and you can't help just be overcome by joy at watching him. He created that. He was not trained to do that. That was his little like signature moves. And I, you know, in my case, for instance, I have a dog named Bean, and she created a dancing exercise with me. And all I have to do is turn on like music and look around, and Bean's staring at me, and I'll stare back at her, and she'll come over and she'll reach up and we'll put hands together and we'll walk around together. It's hysterical. She created that. And I don't know if any of you saw the post for the show, but there was a picture of a dog hugging me. Her name's Summer. Summer created her own hugs. It's the sweetest thing. And I didn't tell her to do it. I didn't train her to do it. She literally, from a puppy on, created that special hug on my shoulder. So what kind of signature moves do your animals have or had? Think about that. Bring those into the focus. And like I said, the cat's purring, it lists super high on the consciousness scale, same frequency that promotes physical healing process like the healing of bones. Wow, amazing. So Renee, if you'd put up that David Hawkins quote, I'd like to share this with you while I'm glancing. Playing fetch. So by changing ourselves, we change the world. As we become more loving on the inside, healing occurs on the outside, much like a rising of the sea level lifts all ships. So the radiance of unconditional love within a human heart lifts all of life. Isn't that beautiful? So do you have to be in a certain state to receive a healing frequency? What if you're busy in your day and you bump into a healing frequency and you may not notice it? Does it affect you? Can it sneak in without you being aware? Have you ever been in a bad mood? Something happened and you're just like, not feeling it. And then you'll have your dog or cat or bird or horse or whatever come up and nudge you or do something funny or do something that catches your attention. So my theory is that we're all swimming in healing frequencies all the time. The animals are certainly emitting them totally. And we will get benefit out of a healing frequency. It may not be the complete full benefit, as if you were like super open and aware, but it definitely sinks in. And the good thing about it is it's a time release kind of thing where it keeps coming in. Um, and Marge says, Ferguson comes up in the evening, sits and meows at me, won't stop until I put food out for the possum and the deer. I love that. I love that. It's like, Mom, it's time. You need to like pay attention. And Lori says, my nearly 14-year-old corgi just raises his head in the brightness of his eyes when he catches sight of me. I love that, sight of me, because he does see you. Our animals truly see us, not just who we are on the outside, but they see who we are on the inside. And that's what we really, really love. Paulette says, my dogs playing together made me so happy. And now that Cody has passed, Loki will play with me, but I know he enjoyed playing with Cody, who passed more. I don't know about that. Almost what I'm hearing as I was just reading that is we got a new game starting. We got a new game starting. So I'd be paying attention to that one. Let's see. When I cry, my dog comes to comfort and then does funny things to cause laughter. Aren't they so intuitive? Like, what would we do if they did, like, if we didn't have them to kind of pull us out of our slump? And Janet says, Grace used to roll on her back and wiggle around to make me laugh. They're brilliant at switching frequencies. We could learn quite a bit. And Donna says, can we send them the same healing frequency to help them if needed? What a great question. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you can. In fact, we get in sync with them on these vibrating, these frequencies, and how do I describe it? We get the benefit both ways, So it's wonderful while we're emitting love, like you send love out and you see them receiving it. The minute that's like that ping happens, it's reverberating back to you. So yes, and we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. And Julia says, when my girl would beg for food or a treat and I'd tell her no or all done, she'd slowly slide down to lay down and let out this grunting noise as if she were upset or disappointed. And we thought it was always the funniest thing. That is hysterical, because I literally got a visual of that. Thank you for sharing that. See, it makes me laugh. Deanna says, Precious dances down the hall ahead of me when I feed her. Oh, I love that. Precious is a tiny little girl. She's an older girl. She's still got the moves, though. So, Renee, if you would put up that, I've got a sweet video I want to share and then talk about. So, Renee, if you would put that up and play that. This is Cynthia. Cynthia is Janet's friend. Isn't that adorable? Is that not adorable? It's like Cynthia is helping with the grocery shopping. And it's an amazing relationship that's developed. So before I go too much into it, isn't that cute, Michelle? I agree. It's too adorable. Like you're already responding to what you saw. So what words, like what are the healing frequency Cynthia transmits or shares just off the cuff? Anything you saw? Barbara says that was great. Love, love, loves. Happy vibes. Happy vibes. Raises our vibration just to see it, right? We could watch that anytime. What frequencies is Cynthia sharing? Happiness, Diane says. Yes. Deanna says, I love when Cynthia shows up. Listen, Cynthia, she definitely was intending to be on the show. Barb says, pure joy. So it naturally, right? It's like she didn't have to go to school to learn that. Fun, contentment, Diane says. Paulette, pure joy. She naturally emits that. And Renee, if you would put up the next cuteness overload picture, look at her. She's just enjoying life. And because she's enjoying life, we can enjoy life, and we benefit immediately. So I want to read you what Janet says, and I don't know if I have this for a slide. I'll read it to you though. So what Janet tells me and tells us is, Cynthia, an angel in squirrel clothing, entered my life when grieving over the loss of my beloved dog Grace. While I enjoyed watching them from afar, the thought of befriending a wild squirrel in this way, to be honest, was a little out of my comfort zone. I wonder if Cynthia had the same thought about humans. I followed her lead, though, and here we are, both learning about trust and acceptance in a way that still amazes me. Infused with joy, this little girl melts my heart, cracking it open more and more as she helps me heal the pain of the past. I can feel the innocence of my inner child blossoming once again. So, what energy frequency is Janet transmitting to her? What is Cynthia receiving from her? Because it's this reciprocal back and forth, just like it is with all our animals, right? It's reciprocal. What is Janet offering her as a gift that Cynthia has received, that she's been open to? Does she feel safe? Love right back to Cynthia, Claire says. Marianne, love, trust, and gratitude. Yeah, you can see it, right? You can hear it in Janet's words, and you can see in this little precious squirrel that comes to visit her all the time, knocks on the door. Love and content together. Such a full feeling, Diane, isn't it? Claire says comfort. I was around all my animals yesterday, and I just noticed this wonderful full feeling of family and love. And it's just like, bottle it up and take it with me when I'm not with them, and share them with you on a show so that we can all benefit from it, because it's contagious, and we want that kind of contagious, right? We like more of that. Deanna says mothering and safety. Definitely safety and joy, Cindy says. And Barbara says, I know she's not a groundhog, but I keep waiting for her to dance to I'm All Right from Groundhog Day. I love that. I love it. So I want to tell you a quick story about a dog that came to me years and years and years ago. And Renee, if you would put Butch up. Some of you, if you've been with me for a while, I've shared Butch way early on in my shows. So just a quick little background. Butch, and you'll see a fence we had a fenced property. I came to where I was taking my dogs to play, and there he was one day. But before I even met him that day, he'd chewed his way in. Before I even met him, I had this dream. And this is my notation in my dream journal, like literally. In my dream, I meet him, and because he actually in my dream was coming over the fence, 6-foot fence, right? I meet him and take him to the lower barn I affectionately call where they play, and I put him in the middle stall. And inside the stall, I set up a large, I don't know why I said Orvis dog nest, but just bear with me. He sits still watching me work. Bowls, food, water. I gather all the necessary items for our new guest. And when I finish, I approach him to look at the injured paw. He extends one paw in a formal greeting. It was a shake. although I know that the dog door is not large enough for him to get through, I also know we will soon be ordering one his size as he feels like he is here to stay. So that was 3 months before he showed up, and I was like, what in the world? I wrote it down. So all of you, write your dreams down. I wrote it down. 3 months later, he shows up, and I was kind of like, what are you doing? You weren't invited in. And I put him, like, you go back to where you ever came from. He continually kept chewing his way back on the property, determined to stay. So finally, I may have been a little slow on the uptake, but I finally was like, oh, you're meant to stay. So I bring him in one of the stalls. It's probably the middle stall, actually, he was in. And he ended up being very, very sick. He had severe heartworms, very, very ill. And I remember being so angry at how he came on. Like, I was just like, you weren't invited, you pushed your way on. And now I'm doing the whole poor Tami, I can't do this thing. And so I take him to the vet. We go through the treatment, which was very, very difficult on Butch. And I named him that because he kind of looked like Butch. And I was a little afraid of him to begin with, to be honest with you, because he was just sort of rough looking. And I didn't, I was just unsure. So he gets treated that first treatment and nearly dies because he's so weak and he is so sick. I remember for that week after he came back from being treated, I sat with him hours and hours, and he was sleeping or he'd be groaning. He was on his Orvis dog nest. And somewhere in that week, after going through all my, like, this shouldn't have happened, and, I've got too much to do, and, this is hard, and the whole 9 yards of Tami's ranting, it dawned on me that I was committed to him. I was like, where'd that come from? I've been fighting this the whole time. And so it also dawned on me that if he was willing to heal, I would be willing to help him no matter what. And I told him that. If you're in, I'm in. And from that point, he got better. And we had an amazing, amazing relationship. And I haven't written yet, but this is literally the dog with the golden heart. So yes, you're all talking about the treatment. Absolutely. At the time, that was not available. And yes, it was with great reservation that I had that. I've never had that since. So I'm right there with you on the treatment for the severe chemical heartworm and other alternatives, 100%. So I want to make sure I get to everything. I want to share this with you. So many of you have heard Blessing the Bridge. My dear, dear friend, Rita Reynolds. Renee, if you would put up that book, if any of you ever want to get that. She's a wonderful writer, profound animal person. And this is one of the most influential books I read a long, long time ago. Since then, we have become good friends. So basically, can animals benefit? The bottom line of why I want to share this is, can animals benefit from the environment and what you share with them? Well, yes, Butch is a good example of that. Not only did the love part and my frequency, but the frequency on the property, the frequency of the healing that occurred allowed him to heal. And this is the case for all of the animals on my property. So she suggests, and I've added some other things here. Renee, if you would put up the colored cloths, I'm just going to give you some suggestions. Use colored cloths with them, especially if they're ill. Red and yellow generate physical energy when an animal is generally, it gives them energy. It helps. Obviously music, soft, gentle, high vibration music. Sound, our voices. Reading a children's book, or even better, making your pet the star of the book you read. Start with a story of how they came to you and how that changed your life. Flower essences, remedies that help support the emotional electrical system. These are wonderful. And I can go into more on another show. You can look up Green Hope Farm Essences and find them. They are wonderful company. Silence is a healing frequency. I've got a dog right now that is extraordinarily sensitive to thunderstorms, as maybe many of your animals are. And what I found is if I put her in a safe room, it's almost like a sound deprived room where it's just all walls, no windows, she calms down immediately. So that silence helps, so the animals live in the present moment, so much so that the energy runs through them quickly, and they return back to their natural state a lot faster than we do. We could so learn from that. And so that allows them to live at a higher frequency. So what have you learned? Let's think about this for a minute. What have you learned, understood, felt, comprehended with your pet now? Any insights that have come to you about you during the time your pet's with you, or since since your pet has passed? If we can be aware while they're living, we also get the benefit after they leave us, these tremendous insights. And if you've had an insight about yourself from your pet, that's a frequency. You've stumbled onto a healing frequency that your pet helped you see. And that's what I do in private sessions with the animals. They help me help you how to see your own perceptual blocks, to help your heart heal and have amazing insights drop in, that your broken heart's open and you can actually heal and move forward. So the animals are always helping us with that. So the animals have shared, and Renee, I don't know if I gave you a slide on this, memories that make you smile, always heal and have a high healing frequency. So remember we were starting about, talking about the animals that make us smile. Keep that in mind. Anything you've got that your animal has done has transferred a high energy frequency to you that you now have at your disposal at any time. It's in your toolkit. So I'd love to share a healing frequency exercise with you. So this is something that is, it could be really quick, but my guess is it's more of a time release kind of exercise. So when you do it, and I'm sharing it with you on the show to take with you, find a quiet space without any distractions. So this exercise is designed to open your heart and your mind to healing frequencies. And the more you practice it, the more you get good at it and the more you have access to it. So as usual, you'll need a journal and a pen, a pencil, or even a crayon, like a glitter pen. Do something that's fun, because that taps into your creative inner child and your imagination, which is a very high frequency. So you're going to be channeling your pet's frequency during this exercise. So as I go forward, ask yourself the following questions. Write the questions down if you can while we're doing it, giving space for the answer to come. They may come immediately or later, which is what I suspect when you're not focused on the questions. So the exercise, when I created it and the animals helped me, I did in present tense. But if your animal has passed, you can certainly do it aside, in past tense. So if you're ready, Renee, if you put up the next slide, I want you to take a deep breath, slow breath, and let out a big exhale, releasing all the tensions, concerns, and worries you are carrying. And believe it or not, you're carrying a bunch right now. They're releasing during this show, but if you literally take the breath and, as Sonia Choquette teaches, and I've always loved this, let out the sound of ah, like in through your nose and out through your mouth, and do it 3 times. And on that third exhale, go, and let your shoulders drop. That's what you're going to notice immediately. Your body's like, thank goodness, not holding on to all this tension. So question 1, Renee, if you would put that up, where does my heart need healing now? And if your pet has passed, ask yourself, when my pet came into my life, where did my heart need healing? Because I guarantee you there's a connection, both present tense and past tense. And sometimes we're not used to asking that type of question, in our day of linear day where we're thinking of other things. That's why I say get a space where you can put some time to this. Let whatever comes flow onto the page. Don't be editing while you write. Examples: I need joy, laughter, love, connection, peace. I need to feel happy again. Fulfillment. I need to feel my purpose. To be loved. I need to heal my broken heart. It's a powerful question. And what you're really asking is your spirit and your heart and your higher self to come through, along with your animals. Where does my heart need healing now? And whatever you say will show you exactly what's up for you now. What's up for you today? What are you working through on an emotional level? So number 2. So I put these blanks. So my theory is when put your name of their pet offers me whatever they offer you, I immediately see or feel, for example, when Summer offers me a hug free of expectations, which is always, I immediately feel my heart softening and opening. I feel love and peace in that hug instantly. And I can pull that memory up just to share it with you, and I feel it while I'm speaking it. Those are easy to access. That question is easy to access for you. 3 might not be so easy. My biggest heart blocks are, you're like, I don't know, Tami. What do you think? It's one of those questions when we ask it with a true intention for a true answer, we'll be shown. So don't go to your head. Don't travel upstairs to your head. You stay in your heart, you stay in your spirit, and you will be answered. And ask your animals to clear that path. For example, my biggest heart blocks are daring to love again. You think some of that? Maybe sometimes. Trusting after so many losses. You're like, Tami, what does this have to do with animals? Everything. I've had animals come to me exactly when I needed it. I didn't even know I was so knee deep in a heart block. They're experts at freeing us energetically from those trapped spaces, which once freed, we can live again. And Renee, if you would put up 4. This is always a good one to tap into this frequency. I feel safest when, describe what you feel when you are the most open, the most trusting, the most alive. And refer to your pet with this. So Claire might say, I felt safest when Bronny did what? In present tense, I feel safest when you, being, let's say, Summer again, or Bean, or Twinkie, are close to me and I can feel you. That's an easy access because the animals are going to give you the answer. And Claire says, I feel like when letting out the exhale, it's easier to drop into my heart space. That's when Bronny comes to me the most. Yes. Isn't that the most magical space? And we all have it. Let's use it to its highest degree. And let's definitely always exhale. That's an easy in the car, wherever you are. Do the 3 breaths. And then at the end of it, breathe out like you're blowing out birthday candles and you're letting go of all the heavy stuff you're carrying. Don't worry, you can pick it back up again, but for the moment, let it go. It'll still be around later. So number 5, I see now where, put the name of the pet in, offers me the highest frequency gifts of, so example, I got a little carried away. I see now where Katie offered me connection and family. Murphy offered me the highest perspective. Molly helped me be a good mother. Emily showed me kindness to all beings and how to be silly. Bean offers me the gift of dancing with my spirit. Summer offers me the gift of pausing in the day for a hug to connect with my heart. I'm sure all of you have plenty of things you can add to this for yourself. And number 6, the best memories I have that make me smile are what? With your animal, what? List them. Example, Murphy used to get in line, he'd get a treat, and he'd get in line again for a treat after he'd already had one. And then he'd show up as like, it was his first time. It was so hysterical because I would watch him. They would line up for their treats. That was a game they did. I didn't make them do that. And then when he got his, he'd went to the back, he'd go to the back of the line, and then he'd work his way up again, as if I didn't notice, right? Katie would roll her eyes when I asked her to take that medicine one more time. It was a journey with her. Twinkie stealing a $20 bill and acting like I couldn't see her under the sofa with the bill hanging out of her mouth. Like, really? And Snoopy showing me that if a blind dog could find a hole under the fence, what would a seeing dog find, Mom? Those all make me so smile, and they are the best memories. And just sharing them with you, that raises my vibration. What all do you have to share that raises your vibration? And the next is say their name out loud. Renee, do we have yes, did I switch it? Hang on. Yeah, you're right. Put that up. Sorry. I got carried away. So I say out loud, I know at any time I can tap into this frequency to help me find the answers my heart longs to know. And you can. I know at any time I can connect with you to help me heal my heart. I promise to connect daily to this energy that heals my heart and soul. And then say, name them. You, Katie, for instance, you are as close as my heart and always with me. It's that simple. It's that profound. Claire says, I have a big smile just hearing those. I know. I love sharing it. So I love what you're sharing. Diane says, Cody would wake his grandmother from her nap by tapping her arm gently. Love this. Diane says, I love all of these. Each question in this exercise, and Paulette says, I'm right there with you. Each question is actually a lead-in. All the questions together, and you're going to open up a whole space of high frequency vibes. How good can you stand it, really? We have access to it. It's making a conscious choice to put our focus on it. And the animals are like, oh, let us show you how it's done. So Renee, if you would put up that last slide. I just wanted to share and anchor this in for you. Animals are master teachers, and animals are master healers. And they carry the very frequency that allows us to heal and allows us to live our lives consciously, just in daily life by what they do. So I love that you share all your animals with me and what they're doing. And Kaska says, Quisha, the wolf dog that passed about 2 years ago. It was a fun sport between us about her opening the fridge. Oh my gosh, not to eat stuff, just inspecting. I see you, Quisha. I love that. I love that. That is hysterical. The bears up here will actually break into homes and go into refrigerators. So yeah, that is really funny. Um, and Barbara says, I used to think my dog BJ was a mini me, but really I was a mini BJ. Yes, yes. It's the last joke is on us, really, truly. They're just like, glad you could catch up to us. And Marge says, Ferguson always knows when I'm feeling sad about Isla. He comes up, looks at me, and purrs. And Marge, when he does that, track what you're feeling in your body, track that vibration so you can pull it up anytime, like pull up your own purr, do some channeling of Ferguson. That's what I do. I try to think when I'm, in the car and I'm open and I just reflect back, I channel one of the animals that have been with me. So easy to, and so the benefits reverberate out. Your heart just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. So I'd love to get to a couple of questions if I can. And so Renee, if we could put up those. Heather's like, animals always heal the heart. So let me see how we can do this. Our house is so quiet. This is Jordan. And I know he had to be in pain from his stomach cancer. We had to put him to sleep on 5/17. I'm so sorry. And our world's completely changed with his sudden passing. Yes, completely changed. I understand that. He was 13, but I really need signs that he's okay. And I need for him to come back to me, please. And I want to ask, how will you come back to me? As another dog or another animal? What is your sign? How will I know that you're giving me signs? Are you the blue heron that I see time to time? Jordan, what I want to share from these beautiful questions and these words that you shared with us is you are very much still in this space of noticing, right? What's changed? The deafening silence, the pieces of him that you miss desperately. And so when we're in that particular state, and all of us have gone through that, especially after they leave, our minds go to trying to answer questions over and over again. When am I going to see you again? We're so desperate to connect. That's when we're most desperate. And it's that desperation that actually blocks the energy from coming through. And so you will get the answers you need. And also, when we need for them to come back, that actually stops the process from just of being honoring the life they had with us and just being amazed at the profound awe of this precious being coming into our lives. Animals, they have their own soul path too. And so just like we do. And so, for us to have like a need for them to come back, it actually keeps things from expanding because it's a contractual energy. Not contractual, it's contracting energy. So what I would just really love for you to do is honor the space where you're in, honor the questions you have, allow yourself to work through some of these questions in the exercise, be with those pieces of him, that the gifts he gave you, what he shared with you, because those are really fresh right now. You're actually in a very prolific space since it's been so soon to mine the gems that are there for you, even though it doesn't feel like that. And the blue heron, when you see the blue heron, take a note. What am I feeling? What is my body feeling? Why do I even have the thought that that's you? Where'd that thought come from? Why would you think the blue heron is him? Those are all your signs. And he's wanting you to work on those pieces he's using forgiving yourself for whatever you're stuck in that space of. So I'm happy to work with you further on a fuller reading. It probably does need some dropping into, and I hope this helps. And I hope the show helps all of you. I hope all the exercises that the animals have created go straight to your heart and then straight to the world bringing those frequencies out to the world that the animals share with us. I've so enjoyed my time with you. It's always so short. Thank you so much for coming. I love our conversations. Our next show is on July 12th, and I can't wait to see what the animals will create for us next. In the meantime, have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.
You've been enjoying Tammy's Soul Speak featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks.